So welcome to the last session of the day. So we have the pleasure to welcome Adam Hotchkiss from Plume and Thibaut Dury from DataAxis. So they will discuss on how to leverage cloud and AI to deliver winning in-home video experience. So before giving the floor to Thibaut, I would like to remind our attendee that we have a survey form on the Swapcard platform. So we would love to hear your feedback about the event. Thank you very much. So Thibaut, you have the floor.
Thank you, Priscilla. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome for this last session of our 2 days conference. I'm glad to be with Adam Hotchkiss, the co-founder and vice president of Plume. Thank you, Adam, for hosting this session. In the next 30 minutes, we will discuss the state of in-home video streaming consumption, the increasing congestion of smart homes, and what are the solutions for broadband providers to deliver flawless Wi-Fi connectivity to ensure the best experience for the consumers. But first of all, let's have a general overview of what have been the changes in the European streaming and OTT markets. So as you're now able to see, there has been a strong growth and consistent growth in terms of OTT subscriptions, both in Western Europe and CEE over the last 5 years, on average 30% growth year on year in terms of subscriptions. In 2019, for the first time, the number of total OTT subscriptions, including both SVOD and linear TV offers from pay TV operators, exceeded the total amount of pay TV subscriptions in Western Europe. And regarding Western Europe especially, Disney Plus significantly contributed to the strong growth we can notice in 2020, with almost 12 million subscribers at the end of last year. However, Netflix is still the dominant actor, accounting for more than 40% of the total OTT subscription in 2020, while it accounted for more than 51% in 2016. So quite a significant decrease, though, mainly due by the increasing competition from local and regional actors. The OTT offers from pay TV operators have also grown fast in Europe, mainly driven by some markets in Western Europe, the UK, Finland, France, Germany, Italy, and Poland in CEE. While in Western Europe, OTT offers from pay TV operators have remained low compared to SVOD, it has been gaining momentum in Eastern Europe thanks to relatively cheap subscription offers. In CEE, OTT offers from pay TV operators accounted for a third of the total OTT subscriptions, while they accounted for less than 10% in Western Europe. If overall OTT pay TV remains low compared to SVOD, the penetration of OTT pay TV offers from pay TV operators has steadily increased from less than 3% of the total pay TV subscription in 2016. It now accounts for more than 11%. Moving on to the ad-supported video streaming services, the market has become increasingly competitive over the last years, especially in the last 18 months. We see that more than a dozen new platforms has been launched last year, for instance, and most of those new actors have been pan-European, contrary to the previous trends, where we used to see mainly local or domestic broadcasters, also known as BVOD, who used to dominate this market. Now the market is getting more diversified with the arrival of internal services, such as Pluto TV, Rakuten, Xumo, but also local streaming services who launch hybrid business models similar to what we've seen in the US with Peacock or Hulu. In Europe, then are Dplay, Join, Videoland, RTL XL, and so on. But even operators who started to launch their own AVOD offers, for instance, Atresplayer in Spain from Atresmedia, and probably will notice the soon to be launched HBO Max as supported here. This increasing competition has also led to more diversified content offers. From a mainly catch-up programming provided by traditional podcasters, we now see a greater variety of content, including sports, movies and fictions, documentary, kids content, and so on, available whether on demand or curated through specific channels. This increasing competition also translated into revenue. We see that they have more than doubled between 2016 and 2020, with similar trends across CEE and Western Europe. But overall, YouTube has remained the dominant actor, still accounting for 65% of the total AVOD revenue in Europe. So what to expect then in terms of trends in the streaming market? Probably a slowdown in the subscription growth in the next 5 years. The major services have been already launched. The consolidation between mid-sized actors can be expected too, and an increasing churn rate related to higher fragmentation of the European markets, both in terms of OTT offers and content availability. On the OTT pay TV side, we can see the same trend. Even though subscriptions are expected to increase fast, they will eventually slow down. If the ARPU of OTT offers from pay TV operators are expected to increase too, they are also expected to remain low in comparison to the trend we have been seeing in the US, for instance. This is due to the fact that European skinny bundles have remained skinny so far compared to the US one, which have significantly extended their TV channel bouquet over the last 5 years. So moving from distribution to consumption, let's have a look at the devices trend within the European households to consume video content. First of all, we can notice an increasing content offering, but also a diversification of streaming devices. Overall, the increasing smartphone penetration among European population, but most of all, it's the number of active 4G subscriptions which has increased dramatically. Actually, it doubled in the last 5 years, leading to increased video streaming consumption on mobile. Computer usage has also increased too, plus 10% in 5 years overall, with significant disparities though between European countries, higher figure, for instance, in Western Europe than in Eastern Europe, for instance. But the fastest increase came from smart TVs. The share of smart TV over TV sets nearly doubled in the last 5 years, reaching now almost 30% penetration at the end of 2020. And this translates in fast growth in terms of active smart TV sets, as you can see on the graph on the right. Connected TV streaming devices is still a nascent market, but it is growing fast, especially in Western Europe, UK and Germany on top of them. But contrary to the US, Roku has not reached a strong penetration rate in Europe yet. The main brands in terms of market share are Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Regarding our own forecasts, while mobile consumption has been growing fast, we expect that computer will remain strong at home in the next 5 years. And if overall video consumption over multiple devices has significantly increased, the TV screen remains the privileged device to stream and watch content. As a result, the number of smart TV sets and connected streaming devices should increase strongly in the next 5 years. As a conclusion, due to the transition from a traditional way to watch video content to a more digital and multi-device one, consumers have been increasingly reliant on premium internet solutions. As a result, Wi-Fi is now the foundation that consumers rely on for accessing services throughout the home. And the sophistication of new devices, boxes, and smart TVs led to increasing needs in terms of reliable Wi-Fi solutions. And for that reason, ISPs must deploy a solution to deliver flawless, safe, and secure Wi-Fi connectivity with personalized controls, such as content filter and so on, to meet the consumer's demand for quality of experience. And now, Adam, I leave you the lead to explain us what Plume is doing to solve this issue, both for ISPs and for the consumers.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will go ahead and share my screen, and we'll talk here today first about how the delivery is achieved within the network for the video experience. And then we'll go into some details about the 3 different items and tools that are necessary on the platform in order to have a flexible optimization as the network changes. As you just went through your material, you can see things are changing very fast, and we need to make sure that we're being adaptive with it. Just a little bit about Plume before we start. So Plume builds and deploys what's called the Consumer Experience Management Platform. And that platform covers much more than just the video delivery that we're talking about today. It's split up into 2 main use cases for the consumer. One is Home Pass, which is the smart home suite. And then there's Work Pass on the right-hand side, which is for the small business. All of this is based on essentially the same Plume cloud, and OpenSync is the framework that runs on the hardware, such as CPEs or extenders in the home, in order to communicate to the cloud and run our software-defined networking stack inside of the home or the small business. The service provider on the backend side has access to 2 main service suites. One is called Haystack, which is all about the support tools and predictive analytics for customer support. And then Harvest, which is about marketing insights. And we'll take a look at some of the marketing insights based on the video delivery that we've recorded in our system. All the items that we're talking about today as part of Home Pass, the smart home suite, is located in Adapt. That's all about Wi-Fi connectivity and prioritization of traffic that's flowing through the home. But together as a full package, there's additional features such as control, which is access management and parental controls, cybersecurity protection with Guard, motion awareness and home awareness with Sense, and health with Thrive. So altogether, these make up a single smart home suite called Home Pass, and it's all controlled via a nice mobile app that anybody can download on the public store. Okay, so back here to the video. So what are the three items that are necessary for the video experience optimization? One, it all starts with you have to have a base of awesome Wi-Fi connectivity and coverage everywhere in the house. So all the OTT offerings that we talked about, very few of them are anymore being offered over wired connections. Practically all of them are being offered over Wi-Fi. And as a result, you need to have an awesome system to deliver that everywhere in the home as the bedrock or the foundation of your system. So that alone is going to solve the majority of your capacity issues in the house. But you also need to go a few layers deeper in that there will be congestion that happens on the Wi-Fi network. There will be competing priorities with different traffic loads on the network. And so you have to be able to pick out and isolate different applications that are related to video delivery and prioritize those to get a low latency path through the network. So we'll take a look at how that can happen. And then finally, once you set up all these systems with the different layers for the optimized delivery, you need to be able to monitor what's going on, how well it's doing, and that's where the quality of experience metric visibility can tell you if you're meeting your KPIs or objectives on the network level for the video delivery. So first about the bedrock or the foundation of the system, you need to have an adaptive Wi-Fi system that can handle a few important things within the customer's home. One is about coverage. You want to make sure that every single square inch of the house is covered with good RF Wi-Fi, and then you also need to have intelligent controls on top of that related to two items. One is related to the topology. So if you do have extenders in your home and you need to set up a network topology in order to distribute that capacity evenly in the house, you need to have full access to the entire spectrum, whether that's DFS channels, tri-band operation with extenders, or 6 gigahertz, which is quickly approaching deployment status within these networks. You need an intelligent system to be able to monitor those those topologies and form the best one for each house that you're operating in. Second is you need to be able to steer and control the connection of each device inside of the home. So if you do have a device which would be better off connected to a different access point for better throughput or latency, then your system needs to be monitoring and in real time steering those devices to change the connection and give the best chance for higher capacity and lower latency on the network. So these controls have to be running 24/7. They need to be intelligent. They can't just be kind of local algorithms running. You need to have control and monitoring in the cloud to make sure that you have the correct enforcement of your algorithms and adjustments in the algorithms over time based on a cloud-based system. Okay, so what's the benefit if you achieve this the first level? So one is if you implement steering, which is just connecting the devices to the right band, giving you the lowest latency, you will increase by almost 40% the number of devices that are able to connect to the lowest latency band in the home. So that improvement relates directly to higher capacity to the different devices, such as a set-top box or a retail device that's streaming over-the-top video. If you combine that with the ability to steer the device between different access points, so if you have a gateway and a few extenders in the home, and you're able to steer then that device, such as a set-top box, between one access point to another to get a lower latency and higher capacity path, then when you perform that action, we see on average an increase of Wi-Fi capacity of about 274 megabits per second on average. So there's huge benefits that if you can set up the real-time steering system within your house, that you'll be able to free up the capacity for the customer as opposed to a more static system that's not able to adapt over time. Okay, so once you have all that set up, all of our homes are not static, they're always changing. And you have competing bandwidth for applications inside of your house, and this is really kind of an unavoidable topic. So no matter how much you set up your home for whole home coverage, you have steering running, you set up the best topology within your system, You do have those cases to where you have maybe 4K or 8K video feeds coming across the system, and then you have maybe your kids playing on a gaming console on the same network, or you have a massive file upload that's happening in the same time on the network, and you need to be able to look deeper into these applications and treat these applications with different priorities based upon the contention that can come up on the network or on the internet connection. So there's a couple of main things you want to be able to do in this. One is you need to be able to determine what application is running. So, and this really comes into when we talk about the different OTT providers and the different video services, they seem to kind of spring up overnight. So maybe it was several years ago, it was maybe Netflix and Hulu had the lead, but now you have Pluto and you have other streaming services that tend to pop up overnight, and you need to be able to be flexible on determining which applications are running and which ones you want to prioritize at different levels. So that detection is very important. Next is within the system, you need to be flexible in setting up a low latency express path for that video. So if I do have, for example, shown here, a video device that's connected on a double hop on my extender network back to my set-top box and my gateway, I need to be able to set up an express path for that video traffic that's running on that system. And you need to be able to do that on a per application basis to have the granularity control you need on the system. Last is this has to be applied dynamically. So the ability to watch, stop, open different apps on set-top boxes means it's not enough to just see 1 or 2 video streams. You have to be able to see in real time, anytime a video stream opens up, prioritize it. When it stops, you need to be able to kill it and get ready for the next one that opens up, and you may have many parallel video streams happening at once on the system. So you need to have a system which is dynamic and able to adjust with that. So once you have those streams set up and you do apply different cues to those streams, so every time you have a video feed and you want to be able to apply a lower latency cue than you would for best effort type traffic, then you can see the results are quite dramatic in terms of the latency that you see on that path. So you can see in this home we set up, we had a very congested network, and we set up a video stream across a few extenders, and we're able to deliver all the packets across that very congested network with the highest return path latency of 40 milliseconds under load, and the average round trip time for that path was less than 8 milliseconds. So that's 4 milliseconds in each direction. So when you have this proper system set up, then you can see a pretty dramatic decrease in latency, and that means you don't have to wait for buffering, or if you're doing things like watching linear TV and changing channels, you really don't have to wait for the traffic to catch up and buffer to you. It's all available to you immediately on tap, as long as you have the correct prioritization set up in the system. So last is related to quality experience, visibility, and metrics. And so you need to be able to set up the ability to provide a measurement score based on the quality of experience of the video feed that's going to the different devices in the home. And this is important because there's all sorts of different video feeds running. You have 4K sessions, 8K sessions, 1080p sessions, you have adaptive bitrate control, and all sorts of different applications that you really need a system which can monitor the quality of experience of each one, and then report back if there's not enough capacity or the latency is high going to a device, which is to note that you're kind of failing on the KPIs to deliver the video service to the customer accurately. So in order to do this, you need to be able to, again, look at the different application flows on the network, and then measure the amount of traffic and the latency of the packets that are flowing through that flow to the device, to make sure that you're continuously delivering the packets in a timely manner to fit the video need. Once you have this information, then you can start tracking, am I meeting my QoE to the different devices? And we did an analysis on our own network to see across different vendors, are some vendors better than others at performing video delivery? So in other words, does hardware make a difference? And the answer is yes. We took a look at 3 very, very popular retail solutions, dongles that you would plug into your TV, or maybe a small box or set-top box that you would sit next to the TV to plug in, and measure the quality of experience across all 3. And we saw that 2 of them performed fairly well. One was obviously vendor 3 was the best. Vendor 2 performed fairly well, but had some kind of dips into this quality of experience score of 4, which is still good. But one vendor one in particular, had several homes and devices that had a score of 3, which is average, and that would be considered to have a low quality of experience. So the ability to measure and adjust your algorithms and routines to adhere to the different types of hardware is also necessary in the system. So for this vendor one that has a very poor experience, I would go ahead and any video traffic going to that device, I would prioritize even as the highest queue available to me, just to give a better chance for that system to deliver the capacity correctly. Okay, so that so all those things together then make up the perfect delivery system, and this is all part of Plume's consumer experience management platform that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have still a few more minutes for the questions. And just as a reminder, the DataXis presentation with the market view will be available on our website after the end of this conference. So do we have any question from the audience so far?
Yeah, I see a question related to the application monitoring portion of the system. So in order for the streaming to take place, all these functions we talked about with the prioritization and the quality of experience, you need to have a flexible or dynamic based application monitoring system, which uses deep packet inspection in order to tell the different application flows that are running. So the ability, for example, within our system to tell if a Netflix stream is running, or an HBO Max stream is running, or Hulu stream is running, those are all capabilities of the DPI system, and each one of those streams can be placed in a different priority queue based upon the requirements of the service provider. So what we try to build within our system is the flexibility that, you know, when a new video service comes up, like tomorrow we'll see another one. There's lots of mergers and acquisitions that are happening also. We'll be able to pick up those streams, deploy it from the cloud, and set the priority levels. And we give control to the service provider about which queues they want to select for different streams as a way of guaranteeing the delivery of the service. And we also get many requests from service providers who deploy their own video on demand or linear TV service that we add their streams to our library and give a priority based upon the stream that we're seeing. So that's something that's a kind of a constantly evolving evolution of the application prioritization and detection system.
Okay, thank you very much. If we don't have no more questions, I will give the word back to Priscilla to conclude this conference. Thank you very much, Adam, for this brief. And the recording will also be available on our website after the end of this conference.
Thank you very much, Thibaut, and thank you very much, Adam, for this insightful session. So I'll just remind our attendee that we invite you to fill in the survey form on the left-hand side of the streaming platform Swapcard. And also I would like to thank all our attendees, speakers, and also all our sponsors for their support for this event. So we have an upcoming event on the 17th of June, the next audio conference. And to keep you updated about the further event that we have, so you can have a look at DataXis website. So thank you very much, and see you in November for the 6th edition of Nextv series Europe and CEE. Thank you very much.